When you hear the word money, how does that make you feel? When you hear the word rich, how does that make you feel? And when you hear about wealthy people, how does that make you feel? See, the interesting thing about money is every single one of us use money in our lives pretty much every single day. But most of us have no clue of how money really plays a part in our life. Yes, we use money to buy groceries. Yes, we use money to pay for our mortgage and our rent. But how does money really play a part in our life? And the best way to understand this is to think about what has your relationship with money looked like throughout the years. When you're growing up, were your parents telling you that money is bad and evil and taboo? Or is money something that is attainable and wealth is something that's achievable? Is it that rich people are evil, wealthy people are evil, people who have money are bad and scumbags? Or is it that money is just a tool that allows you to live your life? And this is where what happens to a lot of people, myself included, is we grow up with this idea that because we don't have a lot of money or because we're not wealthy, that it's something that's reserved for other people or that it's bad. And so then we create excuses. I like to call them smoke screens around this idea of money. Now, I didn't grow up broke or poor or anything like that, but I grew up in a traditional Punjabi Indian house. My parents are immigrants from a state in India called Punjab. In our culture, growing up, I was told that money is something you shouldn't stress about, is something you shouldn't worry about, is something you shouldn't really think too much about because it's bad and evil. Yet at the same time, I was seeing how hard my parents are working. My parents are working 6 or 7 days a week consistently. If my dad got a Saturday and a Sunday off, that was considered a long weekend. So on one hand, my parents are telling me, don't stress about money. Yet on the other hand, they're working their butts off to earn money. And that's when things started to not really make sense to me. And as I started to go through my financial journey, that's when I realized money is really what you make it. And this is where it is so important for us to understand how money plays a part in our lives. And the reason why so many people put up these smoke screens around money, that money is bad, money is evil, money is taboo, when we're all working for money every single day and we have to spend and use money every single day, is because we don't understand how money plays a part in our lives. And that's why I created something called the quadruped theory to help you understand how money plays a part in your life. Now, what is the quadruped theory? Well, the goal in life isn't just to be rich. It's to live a happy and fulfilled life. You could have all the money in the world, but if you're miserable, if you're always stressed, if you're unhappy, if you're morbidly obese, what's the point? And this is where if you want to live a happy and fulfilled life, you have to know how money plays a part in your life. And in order to do that, my theory is you have to be fit in 4 different places. You have to be physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, and then finally at the top, you have financial fitness. Physically fit means, well, you gotta be physically healthy, because if you're on your deathbed, if you're morbidly obese, it doesn't matter how much money you have. All you want is to be healthy again. Mentally fit means, are you surrounded by toxic people? Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Are you struggling to feel happy? More money is not going to solve that problem. We all know somebody who says, man, if I just had $1 million, I would find the love of my life. I'd be happy. I'd have all these friends. I'd be able to live my dream life and everything would be great. But what ends up happening is when you rely on money to solve those mental issues, you end up going down an even deeper hole, because what you realize is that money cannot solve those mental issues by themselves. It can help assist with it, but by itself, money cannot fix and create that mental happiness. Then you have spiritual fitness. Now, spiritual fitness doesn't have to mean religious. This means, what is your purpose? Why are you getting up every single day to go to work? What are you doing with your day to keep you fulfilled and happy? And this is where you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have a purpose, what's the point? And finally, at the top, you have financial fitness. And this is why I like to call money like the icing on the cake. Because once you have these 3 fitnesses, once you're physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, this is where being financially fit can amplify your ability to live your life the way you want. Because now you can do more things to allow you to be physically fit. You can get better gym memberships. You can get better trainers. You can get better food and better nutrition. You can do more things to help you be more mentally fit and happy. You can go on the vacations you like. You can give back the way that you want. You can do more things for your spouse and your kids. You can do more things that make you feel spiritually fit. Once you find that purpose, the reason that you're getting up every single day, you have the money to help fulfill and do that. And when you're financially fit, you don't got to worry about paying the bills. You don't got to worry about how you're going to pay for your kids' college. You don't got to worry about how you're going to take care of your parents. And this is where it is so important to understand money because, well, if you don't have money, what ends up happening is the lack of money can also contribute to your physical unfitness. Because if you don't have money, now you can't afford the good trainers. You can't afford a gym membership. You can't afford healthy food. And you start eating like crap. If you don't have money, that can contribute to the mental unfitness. Because now when you don't have money, that can cause a lot of fights between you and your spouse. It can cause a lot of issues between you and your kids. It can cause a lot of stress when you can't figure out how to pay the bills. It can cause a lot of stress if you don't know how you're going to pay for your retirement and your vacations. And if you don't have money, well, that can also cause your spiritual unfitness because, well, if you don't have money, that can very easily suck the motivation and purpose out of your life. And this is where it is so important to understand now, how does money play a part in your life? Because the reality is money is just a tool. Money doesn't make you a good person. And money doesn't make you a bad person. It just amplifies who you are. When you give a good person more money, now they have a tool to do more good. Just like that, when you give a bad person more money, they have a tool to do more bad. You could think of money kind of like fuel. It fuels your fire. It amplifies who you are. And this is why we need more good people with money. But in order for more good people to have money, you have to understand how money plays a part in your life. Because if you don't have any desire or interest to build or achieve any sort of wealth, well, I can guarantee it's not going to happen because all success starts here in your mindset. Because if you're broke here, you're going to be broke in your bank account too. And you have to believe that you can become wealthy too, but you'll never be able to believe that you can become wealthy if all you're constantly thinking about is how bad money is and why you shouldn't stress about money and why money is not important. Money is important. It costs money to eat and it costs money to feed other people. But the question is, how does money play a part in your life? Because if you're sacrificing every other part of your life just to get money, if you're sacrificing your physical fitness, your mental fitness, and your spiritual fitness just to get money, well, now you're sucking the happiness and fulfillment out of every other aspect of your life. And this is where you have to understand in that quadruped theory, you have the physical fitness, the mental fitness, the spiritual fitness, and the financial fitness. Each one of these four fitnesses, they need their own attention. They need their own nurturing. And your job now isn't to just learn about the financial fitness. Here at Mind Value, you have lessons and quests on all the different fitnesses. But what I'm going to be going through with you in this quest is how can you build your financial fitness? That way you can be financially free to do more of the things that allow you to live your life the way that you want financially. That way you can amplify the other fitnesses in your life as well. Now, what we're going to be talking about throughout this quest in the financial fitness side of this quadruped triangle is how do you build a financial fitness? And there are three keys that will allow you to build your financial fitness. At the end of the day, it's not rocket science. You got to learn how to spend less. You got to learn how to earn more, and you have to invest like crazy. Your wealth is built through your investments. Your wealth is not built through your salary. Sorry, mom and dad, who kept telling you that if you got a good job, you're going to be financially free for the rest of your life. You have to invest the money. That means you got to spend less than what you make, and then you got to put that money to work because while you cannot work 24 hours a day, your money can. And so how do you have more money that can go to work for you? Well, you can spend less, but there's a limit to how much less you can spend. You can work to earn more, and then you invest the difference. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can earn more. There's a lot of different strategies to spend less, but the key ultimately is putting your money to work. That way now your money is going into assets. It's going into investments that will be working to keep paying you even when you are not working. That's the real key to becoming wealthy. It's not just following some 6-step system. It's owning assets. The more assets you own, the wealthier you will become. But at the end of the day, how can you own more assets? You got to spend less and you got to work to earn more. Now, here's what I'd like you to do after this lesson. By the way, you can find these exercises in your workbook as well. Number one is I want you to take a step back and think about What is your relationship with money right now? And how did you get here? What was your association with money as a kid? What was your association with money when you were growing up as a teenager? What's your association with money today? And what helped develop that? And I also want you to think on that same point, if money was not an issue, what would that change in your life financially? Write that down. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to think about in this quadrilateral triangle, what is the most important thing for you to work on right now? Is it being more physically fit? Is it being more mentally fit? Is it being more spiritually fit? Or is it being more financially fit? Take 60 seconds, close your eyes, and I want you to seriously think about this. What is the number one most important thing? It's not two, pick one, and then write that down in your workbook as well. That's it for lesson 1. I'll see you in the next lesson.